Welcome to Culture on Tap. We are a podcast that is about bridging the cultural gap, one conversation at a time. We have myself, Xavier Bright. We have Dale Young sitting across from me, and we have the man behind the camera, the man, the myth, the legend, Range Armentar. I think he's everybody's favorite.
Well, I mean, he's a legend because we're not 100% sure that there's any other men that live
quite like.
Well, we don't even know if Iowa is a real. It's kind of like, you ever seen the Truman Show? He might all be fictitious.
Yeah. Neverland.
When I wasn't talking to you.
Like it shouldn't be a shock by now, but you've never seen the Truman Show?
I've never even heard of that.
It's, in my opinion, now this might be unpopular belief, but I believe that might be Jim Carrey's best movie he ever made. I thought it was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was. It was. We kind of got off track. Yeah. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and share on anywhere you listen or watch podcasts. Make sure to hit the bell so that you get the notifications whenever we have new content that comes out, so that you can tap in with us, so that we can be another resource for you.
Absolutely.
So, what do you got today for us as far as
fun facts of Range?
Yes.
So I'll ask you a question, and then we'll answer, and then we'll let Range go last.
Okay.
At school, elementary, we're still in elementary school.
Okay.
What was your favorite day, like of school? Not like part of school, like not like recess, but like
yeah.
Like if there was a day that's coming at school, what was the day?
Okay, I have 3.
Okay.
Book fair.
Okay.
I loved the book fair. I loved the AR carnival, where we got to miss school and play and all of that. And I loved field day.
Field day. So I would say for me it was field day was number 1.
Yeah.
So here's the fun fact. Range, did you enjoy field day?
Okay.
Did y'all call it something different?
I'm just going to throw this out there because I am friends on Facebook with some of my elementary teachers, and they were amazing. So don't get y'all's feelings hurt. Y'all did a great job. But I have never done or heard of a field day during school.
He never even heard of it.
That's sad.
Like we were talking about field day. So Ryan just had field day, and your boys just had field day. And so we were talking about field day is no longer, because like when I was at field day, you picked events, like you won ribbons, like it was a
big deal.
Big deal.
Yes.
Now it's just play games. Like it's more just like a fun day.
Mm-hmm.
And so he goes, I don't know what y'all are talking about. And I was like, field day. He was like, never heard of such.
No.
And the fact that I know you're telling the truth is because you wanted to apologize. Your teachers have nothing to do with field day.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, no. I mean, like they don't even get to plan it. It's a district-wide thing.
Oh. Yeah.
You poor soul.
Well, and you probably didn't get field day because y'all were too busy playing Rat Rat Cat.
I mean,
that was their field day.
Yeah.
That was a field day.
Lord have mercy.
Did y'all take field trips?
Yeah.
Where'd y'all go?
I don't have
to
no
the
idea.
bayou.
I have no idea.
They went down to the bayou.
I don't remember.
You don't remember a single field trip?
I want to say one time we went to Moody Gardens.
That's a long ride, bro.
Yeah. Maybe not.
From Louisiana?
Yeah.
Y'all went to Moody Gardens?
I think so.
Do y'all have a Moody Gardens in Louisiana?
No.
We're talking about
Galveston.
4 or 5 hours.
Maybe we didn't. I don't remember.
That's I mean, it's going to take you half the day just to get there.
Yeah.
Like, basically the whole school day to get there.
Right. Maybe we didn't. I mean, now that y'all are saying all this, maybe we didn't.
Like, I feel like we just crushed it. I loved Moody Gardens. You didn't go.
You didn't go.
Oh.
It wasn't Moody Gardens.
Maybe not.
We went. No. My favorite ever was the zoo.
Yeah. Do y'all have a zoo?
See, I don't know
New
if
Orleans
we ever went to
closest.
the zoo. Yeah, New Orleans or Baton Rouge would be. Maybe there's one in Alexandria. I don't know.
Y'all just
I can't ever remember.
Like, have you ever heard of the movie? I'm not talking to you, but if you have, shock me. The M. Night Shyamalan movie, The Village.
The Village, yeah.
No.
Don't even know who that is, do you?
No.
Okay.
At first, I thought the name you said was the name of the movie.
M. Night Shyamalan?
Yeah,
that's the director.
Oh, what?
Yeah, that's his name.
How do you know a director? Like, he's not even in the movie.
Like Steven Spielberg? Lucasfilms?
Michael B. Jordan?
Wait, no, he's an actor.
Well, he just directed Creed 3.
Oh, really?
Sylvester Stallone.
He's an actor.
Quentin Tarantino.
Never heard of him.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you know directors? So anyways, I'm starting to think that Iowa might be like The Village.
Yeah.
Because he's like, he doesn't even really know, you don't really know a whole lot about your state.
No. I mean, I know some stuff about it.
That's where Bobby Boucher came from.
According to the movie, yeah.
You've seen that one?
I have seen that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
So
that's good.
yeah.
But you know what? The good thing about being friends with Range is when you get to introduce him to so many new things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely.
So
some of them good, and I remember, and some of them I immediately forget.
That's cool. And don't really care.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I don't care. That sounds so harsh. I mean, because it's, if it's things that y'all like or care about or whatever, I want to act like I care.
So hold on. You're telling me that you acted like you liked Harry Potter?
Oh, absolutely. That was a complete act.
You think you were acting well? You fell asleep in the movie.
I mean, I did my best.
Yeah. Hey, you sure wasn't acting whenever old buddy came out with that rib croquette?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No. There was no acting like I liked that.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
You're not a very good actor. Just saying.
Good thing. That's why I sit on this side.
So there you go. Range. I'm starting, like, he didn't get field days. He didn't get to play freeze tag. Like,
he didn't play Duck, Duck, Goose.
I really wish they would have had a field day because I'd have loved to know, like, what they did at field day.
I probably roped a cow, something like that. That would have been y'all's field day.
I mean,
it would have been a rodeo. I guess they did have a field day somewhat.
Yeah. No.
Did y'all have like an ag day or anything? Or
no.
Did y'all have anything outside of the normal school
So we
day?
do have an ag day. It's called Aggie Day, but at one time it was the largest in Louisiana. The largest Aggie Day in Louisiana.
So when you were in elementary school, is there anything that you remember like outside of the normal school day that you could look forward to?
No, there's nothing that I can remember.
Okay.
I mean, lunch was good. But we had lunch ladies that cooked. Real food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been nice.
Yeah, for sure.
This just got way off target, but what did your milk come in?
Oh, a bag.
A bag of milk?
Mine came in a bag.
Yeah. You never had a bag of milk?
No.
Oh, that's like one of the hardest things about growing up.
Yeah.
Is you had to learn how to poke a hole in the bag of milk without going all the way through.
Yeah, don't go all the way through.
Because you ain't getting another one.
Nuh-uh.
Unless you got an extra quarter. And I ain't never had an extra quarter.
Nuh-uh.
No. Yeah. We had cartons.
I mean, when I got to about 5th grade, cartons. They brought in the cartons, but we had bag milk.
All the way through high school.
Whoa.
He and I away. So it makes sense.
Well,
not to my knowledge, I don't think we ever had cartons.
Wait a minute. You were still just drink, like your only option for drink in high school was milk?
Unless you went to the vending machine.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure you
had a vending machine.
Yeah. But I don't remember. No, it had Cokes and stuff. Yeah.
Well, what else would it have had?
Well, like some vending machines in schools only have like Powerades and.
Oh yeah, now like I think now they don't really
or like a vitamin water.
Yeah. Okay.
Whatever that is.
Yeah.
All right, so that was a fun fact.
Yeah.
That was several facts.
And that has nothing to do with what we're talking about today.
I can't even figure out a way.
We can't add that in, but that's the beauty of conversation.
I have been told that there's some people, I don't know how it makes me feel about this, but that some people just get on to watch the Fun Fact with Range.
Well, that was a long one. So
that was a long one.
That counts as a view.
So they got
that counts as a view.
They got it. They got to double up on that one.
That was great. But
that was
today,
like Christmas.
Today we are going to talk about church hurt. Those are the next 2 weeks. Today is going to be from a leadership standpoint. Leaders in the church, whether you've been hurt by a leader, and obviously we've sat in both seats.
Both roles, yes.
So warning signs and all of those things. But I think first we have to define what is church hurt.
I picked my cut up right when you're going to ask me.
Yeah,
what is church hurt.
It's good.
So, what is church? So, what are you asking me? Because usually you're not. You went off script here.
Well, we went off script completely.
A long time ago. We're out there now.
Yeah.
Usually you say, what is the first thing that comes to mind when you hear whatever? This time you just said, what is church hurt?
What is church hurt?
So you're not asking me what comes to mind.
No.
Wow. We're just out here today. My definition would be in some capacity being, I guess, hurt by the church.
Yeah.
Because next week is congregational, whether it's by congregational hurt or leadership hurt.
Yeah.
If you would have asked me what's the first thing that come to mind, I would have said it's inevitable. Sad truth.
Yeah.
I don't even mean that like as a dig to church. I think when you have people doing life together, hurt is inevitable.
Yeah. No, that's good. I wrote a free-flowing definition of what it is, but I said church hurt is pain caused by members or leadership that causes the ones who have been hurt to create distance from the church community and sometimes God. Because yes, church hurt is inevitable, but one of the things that happens in the midst of that is you want to create distance from people, from that community, and sometimes we use that as an excuse to, oh, well, I don't believe in God.
Right.
Or, you know what I'm saying?
Which is, if you really think about it, is the most ridiculous. Like, it'd be like me and Range getting in an argument and me going, I'm not going to be your friend anymore because Range hurt my feelings. Like, that's literally like, I don't love God anymore because a sinner sinned.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, which makes
absolutely
no
sense.
And I'm not saying that being self-righteous because I've been there.
Yeah.
Like, we've all been there.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to say. Have you experienced church hurt from leadership?
Just a bunch. Yeah. I mean, for me, mine's different than most because I grew up with a father that was in leadership. So I saw stuff on that end. And then in my own life, definitely had multiple leaders hurt me. And honestly, if it wasn't for my calling, I would have completely walked away. Wanted to walk away for sure, but God did not allow that to happen. But yes, definitely experienced multiple areas of church hurt from leadership, whether that was when I was on leadership or not on leadership.
Yeah.
What about you?
I would say I've experienced it. What I would see as sometimes or one time intentionally and one time unintentionally.
No, I can see that. Yeah, I think for me, I didn't even think about it that way. Yeah, I think for me, one was unintentional. It wasn't directed at me.
Right.
I just got mixed up in it because they weren't able to see their downfall.
Right.
The other was completely directed square at me.
Yeah. So I would say I've experienced it. What I would like to think that was unintentional.
Right.
You know, whenever you kind of step back from the situation, you kind of scan it, you look at it for what it is. It's like, okay, I would like to believe that this wasn't like a direct shot.
No, I think that's very important to say because I think too often we're so self-indulgent self-indulgent of ourselves and have conceit issues that everything has to be about us.
Yeah,
and sometimes it's just someone that's hurting, and you just get to be in the wake of their pain.
Right.
And so I think that's good.
Yeah. What does it seem to be, and you kind of touched on this, a common occurrence in the church today, like church hurt in general?
I think there's. Is it weird to say healthy church hurt? I think on a more typical should happen when you bring people together that struggle with sin, pursuing sanctification. Proximity is going to bring in pain. I mean, I don't think it's any different than family.
Yeah.
Like we hurt our spouses, we hurt our children, they'd hurt us. I think it's just a natural flow, which allows us to learn forgiveness. On the other side, I think it happens with common occurrences because, especially from a leadership perspective, because I think that we revere more than we should.
Explain that. I think you're right, but
I think that I think we take a very lackadaisical approach to being in the church. So we just want someone that's a leader, and then we put them on a pedestal that they don't deserve to be on, and we potentially start worshiping them more than Jesus. So then when they fall or they hurt you, whether you're in the wake or you are the wake,
right,
it hurts.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I can speak for myself. There's men in ministry that I've seen fall in it. It hurts.
Yeah.
And it's not directed at me at all.
At all. You just see it via social media or something like that. Yeah.
Or even friends that have fallen. Like it's hard to see that. But I think that too often, and I think it's one of those. I think it's one of those things where we show a ton of grace towards where we see cracks, and maybe this is getting ahead of ourselves, until we get hurt, and then we want to reveal all the cracks.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've been in ministry for 20 plus years now. How many times, not necessarily how many times have you been hurt, but like, what is the percentage you think of that time where you've experienced either seen it or it being directed towards you, like church hurt from a leadership standpoint?
20-something years, at least half. Probably more than half.
Wow.
And the reason I say probably more, early years of ministry, I was probably in a position that I wasn't qualified to be in yet.
Yeah.
Way too young.
Yeah.
And so I was so self-involved young that I didn't see things that were going on around me, that as I'm older now, I'm going, man, that wasn't right.
Right.
At all.
Yeah.
And so just a different, I mean, the reality is, this is probably crazy. This is a sad statement. From a leadership perspective, these last 5 years is the longest stint I've gone without leadership hurt.
Wow.
Which is just basically you and me.
Yeah.
So I mean, and not saying that we haven't had discussions, disagreements, but it's never come to that.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to leave. We have another elder. Range is in the process of becoming an elder.
Right.
But yeah, this is the first time in my life that I haven't, this is a really hard statement. This is the first time in my life that I have been able to serve in ministry where I'm not struggling at serving in ministry with people. Like I have been in ministry where I'm like, I am being obedient to God, but I do not want to serve with you. So
what do you think the difference is?
I think
we ain't answering any of these. We're just talking.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
I think it goes back into, I think we've failed when we bring on staff. I think we've tried to commercialize the church. I think we've tried to make it a business. So instead, like we look at 30 resumes and the one that shines needs to be our pastor, but no one knows him. Like he can be struggle with pornography and adultery, and he could have anger issues or just be prideful, whatever. Where we have taken the stance of if we don't know you, you're not on staff. I think there's a love for each other that we know what we're getting into. Even I mean, growing up in the church where we elect leadership, like that sounds really political. Like we don't do that here. Yeah. The process at a minimum at this church is a year of vetting. Range has been going, what are you now, a year and a half?
Yeah, I believe about a year and a half.
Right. And so we're clear, like he is our best friend. Like, yeah. So it's not that we don't know him.
Well, we find out something new about him.
Yeah,
all the time.
It's like
daily.
It's like a Christmas present.
Every day.
Always to be open
year round.
But like it would be and I want to be clear on this. It would be easy for us to say, well, he's our best friend. Let's just make him an elder. Mm-hmm. But that's not fair to his spiritual walk. It's not fair to the church's spiritual walk. It's not fair to what we believe Scripture says of vetting the elder process. So Range is going through the process of reading like 10 books, which is not his favorite thing to do.
Not at all.
And he's had some things he's had to answer on the internet, or not internet, but emails from us. And then on the back end, there will be a vetting time where we sit down with him and his wife and talk about areas of needed growth and this is not a thing like if we get to that point, like, I want to be really clear if you're watching going, so he can do all the reading and then y'all can tell him he's disqualified. No, that's like, if we get to that point, we're just helping show him areas that we have identified that needs to grow, not that you're disqualified.
Yeah.
And I think that we are trying to change that.
Yeah. And I'll say, from this experience, not only has it been a vetting or qualification type experience, it's been a growth experience the entire time.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's developing spiritual formation, not just from a theological mindset, but a practical living this thing out. You know, it's not so that we don't have situations to where, oh, he's killing it on the pulpit, but his life looks nothing like that.
You
know what I'm saying?
Who they get to see on Sunday is not who he is the rest of the week. And I mean, now that we say that, I look back now and go, almost all of my church hurt comes from either being the new staff member that comes in or a new staff member coming in that's over me and us realizing we don't have the same beliefs. Like we did in the interview process.
Right. He was just trying to get the job.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say that.
Well, I can tell you for me, last interview I did to become a ministerial staff, I truly felt that we were like-minded in where we saw the church needed to go. Mm-hmm. It wasn't long where I realized we're not. And I look at that, even in the same church, lead pastor leaves, we bring in a new lead pastor, vetting on both dynamics. I think there's only so much you can do in a minimum of 4 to 5 meetings.
Yeah.
And I don't care what anybody says. When you were being interviewed, you were giving them the best look.
Yeah.
Like that is a natural thing to do.
Yeah.
Like no one's getting up there going, look, I love Jesus, but I cannot stop looking at porn. Like no one's like that's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. Like, so,
you're going to share your best messages. You're going to, it's
and the reality is we're a society that wants to market our church well. So we want the best guy by paper.
Yep. So that we can profit.
Right.
Not just, love our community well, but so that people come to the church and we make a profit.
Well, which leads to the issue we have where you have skilled men coming in, church grows. Now either arrogance builds in them where they believe it's all about them. And then you've got people in the church knowing that he should be stepped down, but we don't know if the church will stay if the face is gone.
Yeah.
And it's I feel like it's all built around the lack of knowing. And I'm not saying in general, I think there's people that me and you have both known quite well and then found out I didn't see that. Life. Yeah. So I'm not saying it can never happen.
But knowing somebody, having that proximity with somebody, you would be able to see
right
quicker than not really knowing.
Absolutely.
You know, and if a person becomes the face of the church, then we're already at a loss because who was it? Tim Keller or John Piper, one of those smart old dudes, said that everybody's an interim pastor.
Oh, that's, yeah.
They say everyone is an interim pastor because, first off, Jesus is the head of the church.
Right.
So you are interim.
Yeah. No,
and if you look at yourself or you look at your leader from a congregational standpoint that we can't make it without him, then your foundation isn't built on Jesus, it's built on this dude.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't look at it as I'm an interim, you're an interim, you know, like if the church is built off of us, then we've already failed.
Yeah, and I mean, to me, like, what is it? We're talking about someone that's going to be a shepherd in your church.
Yeah,
and why should that? Like, I would even argue, like, okay, let's say you're bringing in a new lead pastor, if that's the model your church uses. Why does it need to be done in a month? Because we fear what it looks like not to have a lead pastor in the pulpit. Because the sad truth is this, I literally am just in my head counting this year alone, and we're only in April. I know of nine men, whether they're lay pastors or lay elders, that have had to step down because they have disqualified themselves in ministry.
Wow.
Like, and I'm not talking like men I don't know that I just followed them through social media. I'm talking about personally know.
Yeah.
9 men have had to step down out of ministry because of disqualification. So, I mean, and I would even say a lot of the problem we see in church leadership is the way we raise up the next generation. Like
Explain.
I know when I was going into ministry, my job was to be like, go fix the chairs, go get the ice. No one's grooming me, teaching me how to be a man of God. And I mean, and I'm not saying like, I think there's something valued in that going, you think you should get up here and preach.
Go clean a toilet.
Can you serve somebody?
Right.
Like, I think that's valued, but like all I longed for was that opportunity. No one was grooming me, chiseling me down, teaching me things that I needed to know. And so at a very young age, I finally get the opportunity. And because I'm skilled at speaking, then I'm just the guy. Like, as soon as I got the opportunity, I'm the guy. But no one's going like, hey, what is your views on this theology? Like, how do you feel about this? Like, and I remember in the early years, it's only by the grace of God that some stupid things didn't go down because I had no clue what I was doing.
Right.
Like, I spoke well, I engaged. And the thing is, at the time, I would argue I wasn't even speaking Jesus well. I am entertaining.
Right.
And I was very good at engaging people. And that's all that mattered. People, I was entertaining and you enjoyed me. So now you're our youth pastor.
Yeah.
19, bro.
You got no business being a youth pastor at 19.
19 years old, I took my first youth camp. That is scary.
Yeah.
Like, removed by, here's the thing. I'd only been a Christian.
That's the more scary.
11 months, not even a full year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. So what are some warning signs of a potential, because you experience church hurt, it's abuse. So what are some warning signs of an abusive leader or the potential of that leader being abusive spiritually?
I feel like when you start seeing small moments, not huge red flags, like little red flags. And here's why I say that, because I believe if we're doing church right and your pastor's heart is in the right place, if you come to him with small red flags, he's immediately evaluating and realigning where he needs to be. But most of the time, especially if we're on the inside with our pastor, we ignore the small red flags until the massive red flag happens, and then we want to also dump out all the small flags.
Yeah.
I think it goes back to proximity. Like, if you feel like your pastor's off, ask him.
Yeah.
Like, hey, bro, like, you seem not yourself. You seem angry. Like, I think it's like any other human being in our life. Like, we've got to evaluate. He is your shepherd.
Yeah.
Like, and so I think there's little things, isolation, exhaustion, temper, a change in mood, a change in character, a change in even a style and how they preach. And I don't mean like, because who I am and the way I speak, even I would say in the last 6 years is vastly different.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it in age we do change some of those things, but I'm talking like substance. Like, you went from really preaching the word of God to like, man, I feel like the last 5 or 6 messages have been
beating me over the head with.
Like you're like, it just feels like you're attacking me. Everything you say is about politics, or everything you say is,
right.
And so like, I think it, even redundancy. I think sometimes it goes back to like, I remember, I will never forget this. I had been preaching for a while, and a lady in the church came to me and she goes, "It just seems like you've gotten lazy." And I was appalled, but she was like, every message seems like the same message. And I went back and looked, and I'm like, she's right. And so I just started like, God, I need to work harder. And so what about you? Like, what are some things you would say?
These are totally my opinion, and based off of experience, as far as what I've seen up close or what I've seen from afar, like via social media from others. I would say, I think they sell you on a vision that they say is about the kingdom of God, but it's really about building their kingdom.
They're in the center of it. That's good. No, I think that's really good.
I've seen that control.
Painting a picture like, this can't happen without me.
Right. It's like, it ain't about God's kingdom at that point. It's about you building your kingdom. But in the midst of that, like controlling everything that is going on, knowing, obviously you want to know the pulse of your quote unquote flock. But it's like, it's not knowing the pulse, it is controlling the pulse.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Pride. They don't apologize.
That's a huge one to me.
The issue's never them. They seem to be the victim in most, if not all, of the situations that's going on, but like I said, never apologize. Insecurity. I say insecurity is a big one. So you have pride that is an excessive desire for others to admire us. Then you have insecurity is basically pride-fed fear that they won't.
Yeah.
That they won't admire us. So we're trying to, basically everything's a constant competition, or, and it's just like, bro, and this is personal experience. Like, bro, I'm good.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Right.
I'm not against you.
Right.
Type of thing. Yeah, those are the big ones that I see. Painting their own vision, or trying to get their kingdom established rather than God's kingdom. Pride, control, insecurity. It's just.
I would even say, if you were someone that's going to your pastor and he's allowing you to have conversations that are negative about other people, there's something there. I feel like a lot of times when there ends up being this competition, there's people, like if people in the church are coming going, you should be the one speaking. You're great. You're creating that environment too.
Yeah.
Like you have to, like if you're doing it for the right reason, people aren't going to, like, I'm not saying they would never come to you and go, I think you should be our guy. But if you're shooting that down, they're going to stop.
Right.
And I think that's the tough part. If you feel like your pastor needs you to praise him, That's not good.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I would argue that he should wrestle with being praised.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I don't even, like, do you ever find it, like, hard whenever somebody says, good message or something like that?
I hate it.
I'm just like...
let me rephrase that. I appreciate that you enjoyed my message because it's for God.
Yeah.
So I do. And I have been challenged. Eric's one of those people, like, God calls us to accept these blessings and to know that you did it in the will of God. But I hate it. And here's why. Because there's other times that I pour my heart out my message and it's crickets. And now I'm like...
I did horrible.
Yeah.
And it's like, for the next 2 or 3 days, you're just down.
Yeah.
And, yep.
And the funny part is, there's other messages where I feel like I'm flat, and they're like, great message. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I don't even know what I'm doing. Like,
yeah.
Like, I'm literally praying to close the message, and I'm in my head praying, like, Lord, I'm sorry for me getting up here and just, and they're like,
tanking.
Bro, you murdered it. And I'm like, clearly, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So how do we discern the difference between what is spiritual abuse, like from leaders, and what is discipline? Because clearly, and we say discipline, like, yes, I know our church members are grown, but you are sitting under
when
the
you're having
authority
to correct them
of the pastor or the pastors of this church. You are saying there's room for spiritual discipline. So how do we discern?
I think it boils back to does it feel like there's love and brokenness when they have to share those things? And when you're falling short, they're still standing beside you. I think there's too often where I feel like spiritual abuse comes in, like, okay, you didn't listen to me, or you're not doing it the way I want to, so I'm just going to start distancing myself from you. And I'm not saying that Matthew 18 makes it very clear that there's a level of sin that can happen where we do have to withdraw fellowship, but I think that's a different thing entirely.
Right.
I have watched pastors have an agenda and have their go-to guys that they want to push that agenda, and then when they start wavering, they immediately go like, he's not following God like he should. And I think we just have to be careful. Like, I think it's a very fine line, because I do think that no one likes discipline or abuse.
Yeah.
Like,
even if it's good discipline.
Yeah. Like, people don't like to sit down and go, I love you, but I need to have this conversation.
Right.
Like, there's a reason why we created the conversation sandwich, where it's good, then bad, then back to good, because we're trying to, like, ease
the blow.
Yeah. So I feel like there's a fine line. I think it boils back to the character of, like, once they've had the conversation with it, are they done with you, or are they walking alongside you, even if you're trying to push them away?
Yeah.
I think that's the huge difference.
Yeah. No, that's good. I would just add, I mean, and you said this without saying it, but is whatever that's being addressed, or whatever that is being asked of the said member, if it's scriptural or not.
I mean, yeah, that's
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like church hurt is legitimate. However, so is the truth as well. The truth hurts too.
Because can we say, I think you'd agree with this. I can't speak for all ministers. There is no joy in having to apply church discipline on anyone.
No.
Like, we never wake up going, today is the day. And we've, in a short church period of time, we have put ourselves in some crazy situations.
Right.
Self-inflicted sometimes.
Yeah.
Without going into detail, but I'm just saying, your pastor should be broken before and after.
Yeah.
Of fear that you could walk away.
Yeah.
That they have to have the conversation. And then if it goes well, they should rejoice.
Yeah.
So
for sure. And some of what we claim to be church hurt is the truth exposing our iniquity and self-interest. You know, so is whatever that's being said or how it's being handled, is it biblical? And you would be able to,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Discern, okay, I need this, or well, this doesn't seem like scripture.
Yeah,
this isn't biblical. So you know, like
I think it goes back to say, because we can't go to feelings because this one never feels good,
right?
Like after the aftermath can,
right?
But in the moment, no one. I've never met a human being that enjoys being told you're failing.
Right, for sure. So, any closing remarks as we wrap this up, as far as church hurt from a leadership standpoint?
Yeah, I would just say, from a leader's perspective, my prayer for our congregation would be, and we've talked about this when it comes to race and everything. Have empathy because you don't understand.
Yeah.
And I would say it takes a lot to be humble when you stand in front of people and they're listening to you speak. When God calls you with a vision and you're presenting it and trying, like, it's hard to let go of what you think is your baby, even though it's not. Like, there's a lot that goes into that you don't see. And it's easy to hold on too tight. On the other hand, I would say to leaders, you were called to shepherd, not create and destroy. That's not your job. And the reality is when you fall, it hurts all the churches.
Yeah.
And I would just encourage anyone that's struggling, take a sabbatical, get out before you're had to be made to get out, because God will protect His church.
Right.
That we have seen forever,
and that will stand the test of time.
Forever,
the church ain't going anywhere.
You are not the important key.
Yeah.
Ever. It is the church.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would just, and I'd even say if you're a leader and you're struggling, or a member of a church and you're struggling, feel free to reach out, not to gossip about your situation, but for us to be able to pray with you.
Yeah.
Maybe you've been through something. I just know there's a lot of people out there that are scared to go back to church because of hurt. And just let's just be clear. The church, God's church, still loves you the same.
Yeah.
He didn't do it.
Yeah. No, that's good. Just like you took from a congregational standpoint, I would say a greedy, lying, manipulative wolf that's on the pulpit doesn't mean Christianity's fake.
No.
It just means that dude is.
Yeah.
So don't lump the Church of Christ in with that guy. And I know that's easier said than done, but as Dale just said, if you've been hurt, we've been there. And we can help you as best we can, whether that's prayer, whether that's just meeting and talking, whatever the case may be. But don't lump Christianity being fake because you've been hurt by a wolf.
Yeah.
On the leadership standpoint, I have a few questions. And then we'll end it. If you were a distraction to the church, would you step down?
I actually pray that all the time. Lord, if I am turning people from you, let me see the move.
Yeah. And it's like, what is your answer to that? What is your answer to if you were a distraction, would you step down? Another one is, when's the last time you apologized?
That's huge. Yeah, that's.
When's the last time?
Even let me add to that. Even if you know that their version of the story is wrong, sometimes as shepherds we just have to go, I'm so sorry that's the way you heard that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so sorry that you feel that way towards me, and you don't have to go, but you did this. Just apologize.
Right.
Like,
for sure. And one last thing, above reproach is a higher standard than not caught.
Oh, that's good.
or even not guilty.
Ooh.
Above reproach requires external accountability. It requires self-reflection, emotional audit questions. It requires humility. It requires chronic repentance. It requires transparency. So are you sure that you want to be a leader?
Only thing I'd add to that is above reproach doesn't mean that you can't fail. It's how you approach your failure and how you get up.
Chronic repentance. So it's like from both perspectives when it comes to this, we need to ask ourselves the tough question. And both of us have experienced church hurt one too many times. And this is why we're talking about this, because we feel as though this has happened a lot.
Yeah.
And it continues to happen. And honestly, it's going to continue to happen. Paul wrote about it.
Right. And I know for a fact that there's multiple people that watch us that are not going to church because they've been hurt.
Yeah.
One, I mean, I'm not trying to make this about our church. We would love to have you. We will love and walk through that with you. But I would tell you, if you profess to be a Christian, you're supposed to be in church.
Yeah.
Like you're supposed to get back. Maybe not to that church.
Yeah.
But it is a commandment to serve the local church.
Absolutely. So if you haven't already, please, where I'm pointing, subscribe, please like, and share.
Remember, we're trying to hit 500 in April. April?
Yeah.
Same month.
Yeah. April, same thing. So please subscribe, like, share, and we will continue to put out content. Thank you for tapping in with us. This has been Culture on Tap. See you guys later.
See you guys.
Culture on Tap is sponsored by Houston Radio Platinum, playing the best classic hits. You can download the Houston Radio Platinum app. It's in your app store, or just ask Alexa to play Houston Radio Platinum.